I'm excited today. I got Alex Jones and Vivek Ramaswamy. So glad I caught this interview. Look, I've been watching Alex Jones for a long time. Man, he gets some hate, but the man's been right about a lot of stuff.
When they censor you and deplatform you, they can then steal your identity and misrepresent what you've said and done and then build a straw man and transferring the power to themselves. That's the New World Order. That's global.
But it's actually the Old World Order.
It is. You're right.
It's really just the Old World Order in New World clothing.
Don't let anybody hold you back.
For the first time, I met him a few minutes ago for the first time. I actually don't know a lot about him. The number one thing I know about him is that everybody has told me not to talk to him, which is what made me want to actually sit down and talk to him. The United States of America were founded on free speech and open debate. It's in the First Amendment for a reason. And so, you know what? It's wrong that we've become a culture that wants to censor free speech and open debate. And I think that part of the American way of life is we don't just embrace moderate ideals. That is an extreme idea. The idea that you get to speak your mind as long as I get to in return. That's a wild idea. For most of human history, it was done the other way. And that's what makes America great. That's what makes America itself. And so if somebody tells me, don't listen to this person, my reaction is, you know what? I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to keep an open mind and hear what every person has to say because I'm a human being. Each of us as Americans is a human being, and we can judge for ourselves what we believe the actual right way forward is for our country.
First of all, I want to say I do like the Alex Jones show, banned.video. I've been watching it all the time. And he's been banned from YouTube. He's been banned from, he's the most censored man in the world. Okay, for Vivek Ramaswamy to actually sit down and talk to this man, it took a lot of courage. Many people are afraid to say that they watch Alex Jones. I'm sorry, but that's being a coward. All right, so freedom of speech has never died. It never will die. And that's how it is. So, I've been waiting for Alex Jones to get a chance to explain himself and tell his story. And here is that chance, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm just going to jump right into it and let it roll.
I'm going to keep an open mind and hear what every person has to say because I'm a human being. Each of us as Americans is a human being, and we can judge for ourselves what we believe the actual right way forward is for our country. So with that said, I've been looking forward to this conversation for a long time. I'm excited about it. Alex Jones, it's good to see you, man.
Vivek, thanks for doing this because when they censor you and deplatform you, they can then...
Hey, y'all, go ahead and do me a favor and like and subscribe to my channel. I certainly hope you're enjoying the video, and thank you once again. Back to the video.
Steal your identity and misrepresent what you've said and done and then build a straw man.
Yeah.
And that's why they fight so hard. 99% of the things they say about me aren't true. They never show a clip. Mm-hmm. They just say, I've done these things I haven't done. Yeah. And it reminds me of them saying that Trump said after the thing that happened in Virginia and Charlottesville, that he said Hispanics are horrible criminals.
I don't want to stop right there for a second because if you're watching Alex Jones and you're keeping up with his show, it's very informative. It really is, like he says, tomorrow's news today, because he'll tell you things and there it goes. It's happening. Is he always right? No one's always right. But for the most part, Alex Jones has been nailing this for a very long time. He warned us about it. And now we get to see that it was actually true. Alex Jones was right.
Bad people. He didn't say that. Yeah. He said they're wonderful, good people, but there are also a lot of bad people coming across the border. They wouldn't show the clip. They would just say he said that. But he had a big enough bully pulpit to override that. And so it doubled the number of Hispanics from when he first got elected towards the end of his first term who understood that it was a lie, and they then embraced him because of that. But that was because he could show them the actual clip and show them that there'd been a lie. I'm not as big as Trump. I'm probably like 5% of the poll he's got. And so I have been successfully in many ways destroyed. They built another Alex Jones. that's not me. And that's why they say don't ever interview Alex Jones, because they're going to hear something that probably most people are going to agree with.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think that, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the fact that, somebody came up, I don't know if it was someone from your team or someone who's part of your, one of your followers or something suggested it. And I said, okay, well, several people are saying, talk to this guy. Let's see if that's something we're open to. And then the reaction that I get is, no. This is a guy you don't want to talk to. It's going to be politically toxic for you. And my view is, no. We're the United States of America. So I have no idea if I'm going to agree with everything you're going to say or not. But
well, I mean, here's your comeback.
I'm curious about this. Yeah.
Here's your comeback. Lester Holt last week did a really important interview, or 2 weeks ago, with the Ayatollah Khomeini, the leader of Iran. Now, that guy is praising the attacks on Israel. It's terrible. I think he's a bad guy.
Yeah, Khomeini's not a good guy.
Doesn't mean I want World War III with them either, and Hezbollah,
Amen.
Who's got sleeper cells in America and our open border. But that said, everybody doesn't attack Lester Holt interviewing the leader of Iran, the religious dictator. Okay, so you see Hamas publishing videos of kidnapping Israelis, killing Israelis, dead bodies, whole houses shot up with dead families. That's posted on Twitter. That's okay. I actually think that's, I guess free speech, as long as it has an advisory on it. The kids don't see it. Okay, it's horrible. First Amendment, I don't agree with it, but I understand it needs to be shown.
That's where I'm at, is free.
So yes, Alex Jones is actually a freedom of speech absolutist, same as I am. If you're going to be able to say say what's on your mind and enjoy freedom of speech, you got to be ready for someone else to enjoy the same freedom of speech. If you don't want someone else to have that same freedom of speech, what does that say about your beliefs about freedom of speech? So, I think that's a part of the reason why Alex Jones has been banned from every platform. It's because he's speaking the truth. They don't want to hear it. And they don't agree that free speech is absolute, nor do they believe any other rights are absolute.
Free speech and open debate.
I haven't killed anybody. I'm not storming Israeli towns and murdering people in mass or coming on powered hang gliders, slaughtering people. But they don't want this to be heard, because when I see your message, and I'm not kissing your ass, it's just true, you are the most informed, and they'll use this to attack you, but it's just true, geopolitically, you name it, compared to anybody I've ever basically interviewed. And Tucker Carlson's super smart, and I would say has more charisma, but he's a close second. Your grasp, because I see the random questions you're asked, of just a wide spectrum of things is amazing. And your understanding that America, the idea of a free market competitive culture, is something the globalists can't have, because they have a competing corporate oligarchy or tyranny and cashless society, social credit score.
What he's saying about Vivek Ramaswamy being able to rebuttal and being able to articulate better than probably any of his other interviewers, I believe is absolutely true. Vivek Ramaswamy has stood up to the mob, no apologies. He's said exactly what was on his mind. He can articulate it extremely well. And that's something that the leftists, they have no clue how to deal with that. So therefore, they get mad. And I'm surprised they haven't really censored him too much yet, because he just makes a lot of sense. I mean, period. He just makes too much sense for them.
They're setting up with the ESGs. Right. And that's the potential of America is so powerful, because people aspire to that. America has to be wiped out with political correctness and all the rest of it, so that the whole world can be leveled down to one giant third world population that BlackRock and the mega corporations can exploit and control, and quote, control our behavior, as Larry Fink said. So congratulations on the work you've done. The number one candidate I support is Donald Trump. If something happened to him, I would support you for president. And I'm very, very impressed. A lot of people say, well, 5 years ago, his views were a little bit different. Well, so were mine. And so people saying, well, he wasn't perfect in the past. Well, I'm not perfect today. We have to be ready, as the world awakens to the real political system, to have converts to liberty and freedom in Americana. And so the fact that you are a leading light, really promoting the truth, is amazing. And the few people that criticize you saying, well, he just showed up on the scene. Well, that's what happens with innovation and ideas. And of course, you didn't just show up on the scene, but exploded on the national scene. And so I really appreciate your campaign. I think it's the best thing out there. When you watch these Republican debates, they're unwatchable except for you. My listeners all agree. the crew all agrees that why don't we just have you up there for 2 hours instead? Because
Facts. I agree with Alex Jones. Watching the debates is a waste of time. They don't want to let Vivek Ramaswamy talk because, again, he makes a lot of sense. The American people are going to resonate with his message, and they can't have that. The warmongers, the military-industrial complex, the super PAC puppets, as he calls them, they can't handle that. They can't allow you to hear the truth. So you better be paying close attention to what's actually happening and listening to these guys talk because they know exactly what they're talking about. Why would they have to ban Alex Jones from so many platforms? Why? Because if what he was saying was nonsense, then they would simply just let it play and everybody would figure out that it was nonsense. But they can't, when they can't allow you to see it, that should tell you everything you need to know.
There's nothing but talking points and canned garbage from the rest of them because I can tell you run your campaign. All the rest of these people are told what to say and they're looking at polls and numbers and it's synthetic. With you, it's real.
They're puppets, and that's not even their fault. Actually, I've realized at first I would think I'm running against these other candidates. They're puppets of a broken super PAC puppet master system, and that's just the state of American politics today. And my view is, if you look at some of the stuff that I've written in my books, my first, book, Woke Inc., even years ago, I agree with 99% of what I said, but I've moved a little bit, and that's good. We're human beings. That's why I'm having this conversation. That's why people listen to contrary voices. Is we're human beings, not partisan hacks.
Well, exactly.
Who are supposed to respond to information and think about it and evolve our views. That's what it means to be a thinking.
Right. So the point that he's making right now is very important because the leftists, I notice, they sort of stay in their ignorance. Like, they believe it one way, and that's pretty much final. Like he's saying, involve into our thinking, involve into, you're not the same way you were 10 years ago. You've evolved to think a little bit differently and for the better, hopefully, not more ignorant. Because ignorance is it's running rampant in our country. And as I said, the leftists, they kind of stay that way instead of actually hearing some facts. And some truth and other points of view. That's what they actually have a problem with, hearing other points of view. And if we could just get past that, hey, look, I'm a human being, you're a human being. Let's talk. Let's have good, healthy debate. That's what it's all about. I let you talk, you let me talk. You can't just go around shutting people up. That never works, okay? It will never work.
Human being, at least to me.
Well, and the globalists have come out in the open.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tucker Carlson just the other day. I went and visited him in Maine, and we did some hunting and stuff. And he was like, man, I'm more radical than you now. And we were sitting there talking because the world, it's out in the open. The globalists have taken the mask off.
Yeah.
And so I know you've been a pro freedom of speech, liberty guy for a decade or more. All I'm saying is what you say is dead on. I sit there and I watch it and I go, gosh, I wish I could nail it. And I'm not kissing your ass. It's true.
I appreciate it.
Nail it. And regardless of what happens, we need people like you, at the top of government that actually know the subjects and aren't just getting talking points.
Yes, we need more people like Vivek. Do I wish he was a Christian? Yes, I wish the man would give his life to Jesus because that's who it belongs to anyway. Okay, man, the guy is spot on every single time you hear him, man. They keep throwing question after question after question. Boom, boom, boom. He knocks them down. We need people like that believe the same things as the American people do when it pertains to our freedoms, our capitalism, the things that we believe in. Somebody needs to be able to articulate and knock these people out of the park, man.
From the donor class.
Yeah. So let's just, since we're meeting for the first time, just a few minutes. Your audience is probably very well familiar with this, but in your own words, it's just to hear it without, I didn't Google any of this beforehand, et cetera. I don't want to be biased. What's your journey to the views that you have now? What gets you going in terms of your mission? You're a clearly passionate guy, want to revive the essence of our founding ideals of the free exchange of ideas, not be controlled in a way that impedes the sovereignty of the United States. I know these topics animate you, but what personally got you to that place right now?
I had a lot of family that worked in the sharp end of the stick in U.S. intelligence. And they never really told me any of the classified or secret stuff. But like my uncle was high level, I ran Contra and a bunch of other stuff. And
Oh, really? So I would have never guessed that. You're what, parents or uncles?
just a lot of people, yeah.
Okay, a lot of people in your family were in U.S. intelligence.
Well, I mean, back during the 70s, 80s and stuff, before they went from HUMET to electronic intelligence, there was a mobilization of the population against the Russians and others.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I had a lot of family. If I went to a family reunion, it was like a Soldier of Fortune convention. And and they would just talk about what the government was doing, what was going on. They were patriots, but just like we see all these whistleblowers now in the government, they didn't like what was happening. So it's not that the government's our enemy, it's that criminals at the top have basically captured it. So when you're a child growing up hearing all this, I just kind of absorbed it. I wasn't even really listening to it until later I realized how true it was. And then I started to go to college a little bit, but I was already very successful in business by the time I was like 19 as a salesman.
I hope everybody's paying attention. So Alex Jones's family were in intelligence. Okay, this guy just didn't come out of nowhere and just start talking about this stuff. He's been around it for a long time. You might want to pay close attention to what he's been saying. I've been watching this show regularly for a very long time. And I've watched thing after thing after thing he's talking about just unfold like crazy. To the point where I'm just like, does he work for the New World Order? Like, it's crazy. The things that, and all he does is actually just pay attention to what they're saying and what they're doing. And he's been following it for a long time. He's been following this for a very long time. So I don't believe everything I hear. I don't, people call them conspiracy theories. Okay, go ahead and take a look at some of the episodes. Go ahead and watch what he's saying. Go ahead and see what's actually happening right now. You're going to find out real fast that this guy's right about a lot of stuff. It's overwhelming. So miss me with all that bull crap about Alex Jones as a conspiracy theorist and he doesn't know what he's talking about and he's a nut. Okay. Look at the real nuts. Let's see what the other people on the left are actually doing and what they're advocating for. Okay? Then make your decision based on an educated analysis. How about that?
And boom, I saw really this anti-American race-based brainwashing that we see out in the open now, but it was going on here in Austin on the college campuses. And so I decided,
And when was this? Just so we track the
this
time?
is in about 1993.
Okay.
And I've been on air since 1994, officially 95.
Okay. But you were a salesman before that. You started college. Where was college? Where was that at?
I just went to local community college.
Here in Austin?
I was figuring out what I wanted to do.
Here in Austin.
Absolutely. I mean,
But you were already a successful salesman, so then you decided to find your way out of college.
yeah, I'd had jobs when I was a kid. My dad had money and stuff. My parents were successful, and I would say I want new shoes. I want I want to get a new wakeboard. Because we were living on the lake, and my dad would say, well, then go get a job. So from the time I was about 13, I had jobs, and then I got into different sales. But the biggest thing is I was selling gym memberships and stuff when I was 18, and I was making $150,000 a year, $200,000 a year. And then I was going to community college, figuring out if I wanted to go to main college, and it was just insane. I went and sat in on some UT courses on RTF, radio, television, films. I thought I might want to do that because I wanted to be politically involved. And they were teaching 20-year-old stuff. I was like, you're not talking about the internet, these classes. Why am I here? Like, well, first you got to take all these other classes. So I started out on Access TV in 1994, got my own show in 95. Got a website in 97, got a local radio show in 96, called up satellite companies, bought the equipment, the station let me put in the connection to the satellite, syndicated myself when I was...
You're in your early 20s just decided you're going to do all this
Syndicated myself at 22, got on suddenly like 50-something radio stations. It was insane. Hit the national news immediately. Decided instead of selling coffee...
What were you talking about?
Well, instead of selling coffee mugs and like newsletters like other talk shows did to supplement their income, I said, I'm going to make films. And so I would go and show the UN taking over the national parks and show the UN signs and show what that treaty meant, that it was taking control of U.S. Land under UN treaties, kind of like the UN treaty on healthcare and things that's happening right now. And so I just basically exploded onto the underground scene with conservatives and people that were aware of what was going on. In about 1996, I was already reaching millions of people. And so it's been a long-term operation, 29 years on air.
Ever since.
Absolutely. We've, 9/11 happened, and I questioned 9/11. And I was on almost 200 radio stations. I've been offered, by major companies, the next big Rush Limbaugh style deal. I guess Glenn Beck took that deal. Nothing against him, overall great guy, really smart. And I went from almost 200 affiliates to 30-something affiliates in 1 month when 9/11 happened. And I wasn't for radical Islam, and I believe Islamists were involved, but I knew about the NORAD stand down. I knew about Building 7. I knew about a lot of the stuff that I was talking to police about that were on the ground, that they knew it was coming, bare minimum. Kind of like I'm against the attack on Israel, and Hamas is terrible, but something like 85% in major polls of Israelis think the government knew and let it happen now. So it's the same thing. But when I said that then, the radio network owners I was on, GCN, came to me and they said, listen, we just lost 50 affiliates today. They're all going to dump you if you don't stop. And I said, well, it's the truth. I'm going to keep questioning it. So that just shows I never did this for monetary gain or just to be popular, though I do need monetary operations to fund my operation and be free and independent. I'm not for sale.
And that's why I like Alex Jones, because he's not for sale. Like, after watching him for a long time, I realized that, like, this he's very passionate about, the topics and things that he talks about. You can't make this stuff up. And when it starts happening right before your eyes, you can't ignore it. It's no way in the world you could ignore it. This is a much longer video, guys. I'm going to cut it a little bit short. But, I saw this and I had to react to it. I was so excited when I saw that he was sitting down with Vivek Ramaswamy. What you're going to find is a lot of very intelligent people actually know Alex Jones. They respect him a lot. I got to say that I'm one of them. And I'm always going to be a big fan. And it's not like, we're cheerleader for him. It's like, dude, when you're telling the truth, it should just roll right off your tongue. It should just come right out. If you're right about most things, awesome. But you're not always going to be right about everything. People joke around and call him a conspiracy theorist all of the time. But I don't hear any of these people actually standing up to talk about how right he has been about a lot of things. I don't hear anybody saying that. It's like everybody's scared to death to talk about Alex Jones. It's crazy. But, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm very curious to know what you all feel about Alex Jones if you all watch his show. Meantime, like and subscribe to my channel. I'll have more great content coming. This is Andre. Yup, I said it.